The unexpected assignment. Lena Grant had always been fascinated by the mysteries of the universe. As a skilled engineer, she had spent years working on deep space missions, but nothing could have prepared her for her latest assignment. She was summoned to the planet Nixoria, a world known for its breathtaking landscapes and unique alien species, the Nixers. The message was cryptic, mentioning only that her technical expertise was needed to manage an unusual condition affecting the Nixers. As Lena stepped off the shuttle and onto Nixorian soil, she felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. The planet's dual suns cast a warm, golden light over the landscape, and the air was filled with a sweet, floral scent. She was greeted by Zorvath, a tall, slender Nixer with skin that shimmered like the moon. His eyes, a deep shade of indigo, seemed to hold 1,000 secrets. "Welcome, Lena Grant," Zorvath said, his voice smooth as silk. "We have been expecting you. Our condition is complicated. We hope your skills will help us find a solution." Lena followed Zorvath through the winding paths of the Nixorian city, marveling at the intricate architecture that blended seamlessly into the natural surroundings. They arrived at a large, domed structure that served as both a research facility and a sanctuary for the affected Nixers. Inside, Lena met Dr. Lyra Flynn, a xenobiologist who had been studying the Nixers' condition. Lyra explained that the Nixers were experiencing erratic fluctuations in their energy production, which was crucial for their survival. The cause was unknown, but it seemed linked to changes in Nixoria's environment. Lena's mind began racing with possibilities. She knew that understanding the environmental connection would be key to solving the problem. With Zorvath and Lyra by her side, she set out to explore Nixoria and uncover the secrets behind the Nixers' unusual condition. As they ventured deeper into the planet's wilderness, Lena encountered strange creatures and witnessed breathtaking natural wonders. She realized that Nixoria was not just a planet, it was a living, breathing entity that pulsed with energy. The Nixers were an integral part of this ecosystem, and their condition was a symptom of a larger issue. The journey was just beginning, and Lena was determined to find a solution that would benefit both humans and Nixers. She knew that this assignment would challenge her in ways she never imagined, but she was ready to face whatever lay ahead. Over the next few days, Lena immersed herself in the research, poring over data and conducting experiments. She worked closely with Zorvath and Lyra, learning more about the Nixers and their unique biology. The more she learned, the more she realized that the solution would require a deep understanding of Nixoria's delicate balance. As the sun set on another day on Nixoria, Lena felt a sense of purpose she had never felt before. She was no longer just an engineer, she was a part of something much larger than herself. The fate of the Nixers and the future of human-Nixer relations rested on her shoulders, and she was determined to succeed. The mysterious condition. As Lena delved deeper into the Nixers' condition, she began to realize that it was far more complex than she had initially thought. The fluctuations in their energy production were not just random, they seemed to be linked to specific changes in Nixoria's environment. She spent countless hours poring over data and conducting experiments, but the more she learned, the more questions she had. One day, while reviewing her findings, Lena received a message from Dr. Jackson Lee, a renowned xenobiologist who had been studying the Nixers for years. Jackson was known for his groundbreaking research on alien species and their unique biologies. He had heard about Lena's work and was eager to collaborate. Lena met Jackson at the research facility, where he was greeted by Zorvath. Jackson's eyes widened as he took in the Nixorian's shimmering skin and indigo eyes. "It's an honor to meet you, Zorvath," he said, extending a hand. Zorvath smiled, his eyes sparkling with curiosity. "The pleasure is mine, Dr. Lee. We have much to discuss." Together, Lena and Jackson began to analyze the data they had collected. They discovered that the Nixers' energy fluctuations were not just internal, they were also influenced by external factors such as temperature changes, humidity levels, and even the planet's unique magnetic field. "This is fascinating," Jackson exclaimed, his eyes scanning the data on the screen. "The Nixers are not just affected by their environment, they are an integral part of it. Their energy production is linked to the planet's natural cycles. Lena nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. If we can understand how these cycles affect the Nixers, we might be able to find a way to stabilize their energy production. Jackson nodded in agreement. But we need to explore Nixoria's ecosystem further. There must be other factors at play that we haven't considered yet. With Zorvath as their guide, they set out to explore the planet's wilderness. They traveled through lush forests, crossed crystal-clear rivers, and climbed towering mountains. Along the way, they encountered strange creatures and witnessed breathtaking natural wonders. As they journeyed deeper into Nixoria's heart, Lena began to realize that the planet was not just a collection of landscapes, it was a living, breathing entity that pulsed with energy. The Nixers were an integral part of this ecosystem, and their condition was a symptom of a larger issue. One evening, as they sat around a campfire, watching the stars twinkle above, Jackson turned to Lena with a thoughtful expression. "You know, I think we're missing something. There must be a way to connect the dots between the Nixers' condition and the environmental changes." Lena nodded, her eyes reflecting the flames. "I've been thinking the same thing. Maybe we need to look at this from a different perspective." Zorvath, who had been quietly observing their conversation, spoke up. "Perhaps you should speak with Kaylin Vex, a local environmental scientist. She has spent years studying Nixoria's ecosystem and might have insights that could help you." Lena's eyes lit up with excitement. "That sounds like exactly what we need. Let's arrange a meeting with Kaylin." As they settled in for the night, Lena couldn't help but feel a sense of hope. She knew that the journey ahead would be challenging, but with Jackson and Zorvath by her side, she felt ready to face whatever lay ahead. The environmental connection. As Lena, Jackson, and Zorvath continued their journey to understand the Nixers' condition, they decided to explore Nixoria's ecosystem further. Zorvath suggested they meet Kaylin Vex, a local environmental scientist who had spent years studying the planet's delicate balance. Kaylin was known for her deep understanding of how human activities impacted Nixoria's environment. The group traveled to Kaylin's research station, nestled in a valley surrounded by towering trees that seemed to stretch up to the sky. The air was filled with the sweet scent of blooming flowers, and the sound of gentle streams provided a soothing background hum. Kaylin greeted them warmly, her eyes sparkling with curiosity as she shook hands with Lena and Jackson. "Welcome to my home," Kaylin said, leading them into her cozy research station. "I've heard a lot about your work, Lena. I'm excited to see how we can collaborate." Lena smiled, feeling a sense of relief that she had found someone who could help her understand the environmental aspects of the Nixers' condition. "We're trying to figure out why the Nixers are experiencing these energy fluctuations. We think it's linked to changes in Nixoria's environment." Kaylin nodded thoughtfully. "I've been studying the effects of human activities on Nixoria's ecosystem. We've seen significant changes in the planet's natural cycles due to increased human presence." Jackson leaned forward, his eyes wide with interest. "How do these changes affect the Nixers?" Kaylin gestured to a large screen behind her, where a complex diagram of Nixoria's ecosystem was displayed. The Nixers are not just affected by their environment, they are an integral part of it. Their energy production is linked to the planet's natural cycles, such as the tidal patterns and the magnetic field fluctuations. Lena's eyes widened as she studied the diagram. "So, if we can stabilize these natural cycles, we might be able to stabilize the Nixers' energy production." Kaylin nodded. "Exactly. But it's not just about stabilizing the cycles, it's about understanding how human activities are disrupting them. We need to find a way to balance our presence here with the needs of the Nixers and the planet itself." Together, the group began to brainstorm solutions. They discussed ways to reduce human impact on Nixoria's environment, from implementing sustainable practices to creating protected areas where the Nixers could thrive without interference. As the sun set on Nixoria, casting a warm orange glow over the landscape, Lena felt a sense of hope. She knew that the journey ahead would be challenging, but with Kalen's expertise and Jackson's knowledge, she felt confident that they could find a solution. The next few days were filled with intense research and planning. Lena, Jackson, Kalen, and Zorvath worked tirelessly to develop a comprehensive plan to stabilize the Nixur's energy production and restore balance to Nixoria's ecosystem. However, as they delved deeper into their research, they began to uncover a disturbing truth. Human activities were not just accidentally affecting the Nixurs, there was a deliberate effort to exploit Nixoria's resources, disregarding the consequences for the planet and its inhabitants. Lena's determination turned to anger as she realized the extent of the problem. She knew that they had to act quickly to expose the truth and find a way to stop the exploitation before it was too late. With Kalen's help, they gathered evidence of the human conspiracy and prepared to take their findings to the authorities. But they knew that this would not be an easy task. They would face resistance from those who stood to gain from the exploitation. As they stood together, ready to face the challenges ahead, Lena felt a sense of pride and purpose. She was no longer just an engineer, she was part of a team fighting for the future of Nixoria and its inhabitants. The human factor. As Lena, Jackson, Kalen, and Zorvath delved deeper into the mystery of the Nixur's condition, they began to uncover a disturbing truth. Human activities were not just accidentally affecting the Nixurs, there was a deliberate effort to exploit Nixoria's resources, disregarding the consequences for the planet and its inhabitants. The group decided to gather evidence of the human conspiracy and take their findings to the authorities. However, they knew that this would not be an easy task. They would face resistance from those who stood to gain from the exploitation. One evening, as they sat around a campfire discussing their plan, Kalen mentioned a contact who might be able to help them. "I know someone who has been working undercover to expose the truth about the exploitation. His name is Captain Orion Blackwood," she said, her voice low and serious. Lena's eyes lit up with interest. "How can we trust him?" Kalen smiled reassuringly. "Orion is a friend. He's been working tirelessly to bring down the corrupt organizations involved in the exploitation. He'll be able to help us navigate the political landscape and get our evidence to the right people." The next day, they set out to meet Captain Blackwood. He was a tall, imposing figure with a rugged demeanor and piercing blue eyes that seemed to see right through you. Despite his tough exterior, there was a kindness in his voice when he spoke. "Welcome, Lena. I've heard a lot about your work," Orion said, extending a firm handshake. "I'm glad you're on board. We need people like you to help us fight against those who are destroying Nixoria." Together, the group began to strategize. Orion explained that the exploitation was led by a powerful corporation that had infiltrated the highest levels of government. They had been using their influence to cover up the damage they were causing and silence anyone who dared to speak out. Lena felt a surge of determination. She knew that this would be a tough battle, but she was ready to fight for the future of Nixoria and its inhabitants. With Orion's help, they began to gather more evidence and build a case against the corporation. As they worked, Lena realized that the human factor was not just about exploitation, it was also about resilience and determination. Humans had the capacity to harm, but they also had the capacity to heal and protect. She was proud to be part of a team that was fighting for what was right. The days turned into weeks as they worked tirelessly to expose the truth. They faced many challenges along the way, from sabotaged equipment to threats from unknown sources. But they refused to give up. One night, as they sat around a campfire, reflecting on their progress, Orion spoke up. "We're getting close. I can feel it. But we need to be careful. The corporation will stop at nothing to keep their secrets safe." Lena nodded, her eyes fixed on the flames. "We're not just fighting for the Nixurs, we're fighting for the future of Nixoria itself. We can't let them win." The group fell silent, each lost in their own thoughts. But they knew they were in this together, and together, they could overcome anything. As the night wore on, they made a plan to present their evidence to the authorities. It would be a risky move, but it was the only way to bring about change. The next morning, they set off towards the capital city, ready to face whatever lay ahead. Lena felt a sense of pride and purpose. She was part of something much bigger than herself. As they entered the city, Lena couldn't help but feel a sense of awe. The skyscrapers towered above them, and the streets were bustling with activity. But beneath the surface, she knew that there was a different story, a story of corruption and greed. Their destination was the government building, where they would present their evidence to the council. Lena's heart was racing as they entered the building. She knew that this was it, this was their chance to make a difference. The council chamber was filled with dignitaries and officials. Lena, Jackson, Kalen, Orion, and Zorvath stood before them, ready to present their case. Lena took a deep breath and began to speak. We have evidence of a human conspiracy to exploit Nyxoria's resources, disregarding the consequences for the planet and its inhabitants. We urge you to take action and stop this exploitation before it's too late. The room fell silent, and for a moment, it seemed like time had stopped. Then, slowly, the council members began to stir, their faces filled with a mix of shock and determination. The battle was far from over, but Lena knew that they had taken the first step towards a better future. She was proud to be part of a team that was fighting for what was right, and she knew that together, they could achieve anything. The New Alliance. As the days passed, Lena, Jackson, Kalen, Orion, and Zorvath worked tirelessly to expose the truth about the exploitation of Nyxoria's resources. Their efforts finally paid off when they presented their evidence to the council, revealing the extent of the human conspiracy. The council, faced with irrefutable proof, was forced to take action. The corporation responsible for the exploitation was dismantled, and those involved were held accountable for their actions. The news spread like wildfire across the galaxy, and the people of Nyxoria rejoiced at the prospect of a brighter future. With the exploitation stopped, the team turned their attention to restoring balance to Nyxoria's ecosystem. They worked closely with the Nyxers to develop sustainable practices that would ensure the planet's natural cycles were preserved. The Nyxers, grateful for the humans' efforts, began to recover from their condition, and their energy production stabilized. As the planet began to heal, a new alliance was forged between humans and Nyxers. The two species came together, determined to protect Nyxoria and ensure that such exploitation would never happen again. Lena, Jackson, Kalen, and Orion were hailed as heroes, not just for saving the Nyxers, but for showing that cooperation and determination could overcome even the most daunting challenges. The alliance marked a new era of cooperation between humans and aliens. It was a testament to the power of unity and the strength that came from working together towards a common goal. Lena, reflecting on their journey, realized that the experience had changed her. She had learned that even in the face of adversity, there was always hope, and that together, anything was possible. As the sun set on Nyxoria, casting a warm glow over the landscape, Lena stood alongside her friends, looking out at the planet they had saved. She knew that this was just the beginning of a new chapter in human-Nyxer relations, one filled with promise and possibility. The journey had been long and challenging, but in the end, it was worth it. Lena had found a new family among the Nyxers and her human colleagues, and together, they had created something truly special, a bond that would last a lifetime. Years later, as Lena looked back on their achievements, she smiled, knowing that the alliance had become a beacon of hope for the galaxy. It showed that even in a universe filled with unknown dangers and challenges, there was always a way forward, as long as there were people willing to stand together and fight for what was right. And so, the story of Lena and her team became a legend, inspiring generations to come. It was a reminder that no matter where you came from or what challenges you faced, you always had the power to make a difference. Conclusion. The story of Lena Grant and her team is a testament to human ingenuity, resilience, and determination. It shows that even in the face of adversity, there is always hope, and that together, anything is possible. The alliance between humans and Nyxer serves as a beacon of hope for the galaxy, inspiring others to work towards a brighter future. As the curtain closes on this chapter, we are reminded that the universe is full of endless possibilities and challenges. But with courage, determination, and the support of those around us, we can overcome anything and create a better world for all. Epilogue. In the years that followed, Nixoria flourished. The planet became a symbol of cooperation and sustainability, attracting visitors from across the galaxy who came to learn from the humans and Nixers. Lena, Jackson, Kalen, and Orion remained close friends, continuing to work together on new projects that promoted peace and understanding throughout the universe. Their legacy lived on, inspiring countless others to follow in their footsteps. And as they looked up at the stars, they knew that no matter where their journeys took them, they would always stand together, united in their quest for a better tomorrow.